Well, good evening, everyone. If you could take your seats, we are approximately 1 minute from commencing the annual general meeting. Please feel free to charge your glass. The food and wine service will continue at the conclusion of the annual general meeting.
Good evening. Welcome to the Cathy Freeman Room for the annual general meeting of Athletics Victoria. Before commencing, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting and pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and the elders of other communities who may be here today. Thank you all for attending this evening, and in particular acknowledging the life members of AV who have registered this evening, including Brian Moore, Ian Rickard, Laurie Preston, Ellen Perry, Steve Monaghetti, Tony Williams, Helen Renitz, Mark Dunbar, Lavinia Petrie, and Richard Lavish. Are there any other life members who I've missed? Thank you. Apologies. Any others? No. I'd also like to welcome the Athletics Victoria Committee members, the Honourable Mark Abib, President of Athletics Australia, Phil Jones, the CEO of Athletics Australia, and Peter Bromley, Board Member of Athletics Australia. We do have a number of apologies tonight from life members including Karen Kirby, Mary and Jeff McDonald, Peter Lamb, Ed Oakley, Rod Griffin, sorry, these are life members and other apologies, Janelle McGrail, Jeff Franklin, Alison Hart, Anne Lord, Tamsin Lewis-Manu, who is actually, I think, with us via Athletic Live TV, Lorraine Morgan, Stuart Robley, Robin Gardner, and Paul Jeans. Are there any other apologies who I haven't got recorded? Thank you. Any others? Lovely. Okay, so just moving on to item 3, which is the minutes of the previous AGM, which was held on the 29th of July last year. The minutes have been previously emailed to all members and copies of it are available through your registration packs tonight. I'm satisfied that the minutes have been sufficiently circulated, and I ask members that attended the 2015 AGM if there are any issues or concerns with the minutes, and if not, I ask members to move that the minutes of the 2015 AV AGM are a true and accurate record. Do we have a mover? Thank you. And seconder? Thank you. So all of those in favour? Lovely, carried. So item 4 is business arising from the minutes. Following from the 2015 AGM, many will recall that there are a number of items that were discussed from motions and questions under general business that focused on the summer calendar. The motions were discussed and members indicated by voting. 2 of the topics were 12 rounds of Shield competition and access to the summer survey results. We consider these are now operational. And at this point, I'd like to hand over to Rowan Claffey, who's one of our Vice Presidents, to update members on some of the work of the committee over the past 12 months.
Thanks, Heather. Hello, delegates, members and guests. As Heather mentioned, my name's Rowan Claffey, and I've been one of the committee's Vice Presidents for the year 2015-16, and per Heather's introduction, I'm just going to spend a few moments of tonight's meeting, tonight's agenda, sharing a summary of what the committee's been focused on in the year just gone, including a bit of strategic context and a bit of summary of how the committee works with management to achieve AV's aims. And first, I'd like to start with a little bit of history. So, over the last 15 to 20 years, the AV Association, in how it's organised itself operationally to deliver services to the membership, has evolved from a volunteerism model to a semi-professional model to a fully professional and staffed model. I've been a member of the committee for the last 6 years, and so I've been primarily across the last part of that evolution, so from semi-professional to fully professional, and particularly under the current management structure led by Glenn. So just to flesh this out, if you consider 4 years ago, just before Glenn started as CEO of AV, we typically carried very high balance sheet leave balances for our staff, and I'd say we relied unreasonably on our staff's, let's say, love of the sport to deliver our events week to week. What that practically means is that people did a lot of work and not all of it was paid for. That meant that we had a model, an operational model that was not sustainable. We were carrying a lot of operational risk. If you flash forward to today, I think it's a reasonable assessment that AV staff, and if you speak to them, this is borne out, is professional, engaged, and enabled to deliver a high quality product to the membership in a sustainable way. The staff has a direct say in how the strategy is formed and how to execute it. And like any professional organisation, our people are our greatest asset. So I think we're in a much better place as an organisation today and into the future because of that. But of course, I just want to acknowledge, of course, that means that there's been a change to the way that transition to professionalism has had an impact on AV's cost base and the way we budget. And of course, there's also been more fundamental increases to the cost of delivering our competitions, including increases, for example, to costs of venues and other non-staff related costs. Yet compared to other sports, athletics remains affordable and very good value for money. Jamie, our Treasurer, will speak in a moment to the financials and provide more detail on that. I'd also like to talk a little bit about, as I mentioned, some of the initiatives we've delivered over the last year, and in particular, as a part of good governance and to effectively take the sport forward, the AV Committee undertakes strategic planning and budgeting over a 3-year cycle. So this means that we can deliver what we need to deliver through multiple budgets, because a lot of the things that do need to be delivered, they're not single year projects or single year initiatives. So I'll just touch on a few of those and provide a little bit of detail on some and a little less detail on others. The first one I want to touch on is the new digital and information systems infrastructure that we've got in place, which is effectively the machinery that supports our new online member and club portal, which might seem like a strange one to raise at first, because we've had teething issues, and the committee acknowledges that that's frustrating and impactful to our members. But I do want to raise it because that platform also enables improved engagement with our younger members and potential members through social media and events. And it's dragging us into what we need to do to into the digital age, along with the broader community, and that the social media aspect in particular is really important. So the point is that these assets, they're fundamentally strategic. They're what we need to do to stay up to the date into the future. If we don't keep up and ideally outperform our competitors in the marketplace for participation in sports, then we'll be left behind. That reality is obvious, but it's also been borne out in recent strategy work that AA has done. Other initiatives that we've worked on over the last little while include an improvement to competition pathways. I won't go into detail there, and also education and officials. where there's been significant growth in the number of coaches and officials contributing to our sport over the last couple of years, which is something which we can all be proud of. Another area that I'll touch on in a bit more detail, and another branch of the strategy, is obviously product development. So there's the traditional stuff that we do as an organisation in delivering competition and services to our membership. And as a committee, we're always looking for what else we should do to develop the sport. That's part of our role. And one example in that vein is a product that's called the IAAF Kids Athletics in Schools program. Many of you will have heard of this. I think it's really exciting. And I'll just summarise some brief details for those of you who aren't familiar with it. We all know that running, jumping, throwing, fundamental movements are essential skills that are used in most other sports. AV has partnered with School Sport Victoria to work with Victorian teachers to upskill them in three areas which effectively make up this program. The first area is rolling out a new curriculum endorsed program to teach children these basic movement patterns and fundamental skills in a fun and creative way that will then prepare them to participate in all sport. The second point is that we've agreed to create regional groups to help teachers in all schools in Victoria to manage and run athletics carnivals, which I'm sure you'll agree is a positive. And the third is giving teachers the opportunity to participate in and access the AA coaching framework to improve their knowledge and skills around athletics. That effectively makes the network of teachers in Victoria ambassadors for athletics and potential connection points for entry into our club system, which is, if that comes off, that's a tremendous strategic fillip for Athletics Victoria and the sport. And I'll use that as a bit of a segue into just to mention clubs as well. Obviously, an important topic for the committee will always be the health of our club system, and we've got an ongoing strategic focus on an investment in our clubs for that reason. And currently, I'm sure you're all aware of the Club Connect program. It's an important element of that. And it goes without saying, we need strong clubs to attract and retain new members to our sport. And Club Connect is a really good example of how the clubs are directly involved in working with AV management and AV committee to address the strategic challenges that face the sport more broadly. And a couple of examples of those, if you've attended any of the Club Connect briefings, you will have seen research conducted by the ASC, which outlines large strategic themes or mega trends that face the environment that we operate in. And one of those is that there's a tendency for people to move, at the moment, away from organised sport into individual sport and fitness activities. So that is something that we need to address at a strategic level. Otherwise, over time, less and less people do athletics, and that, I'm sure you'll agree, is not what we want. So another data point to support that is in the last couple of years, there's been a slide in numbers in little athletics, which supports that the point that the ASC research is making, and just compounds the point that we need to focus on our clubs and have strong and healthy clubs. And while we're on littles, the committee remains committed to bringing the sport together. So we've got good examples, and perhaps the best example of that working is at club level. We've got good examples of clubs working closely with their related littles clubs. A couple of those are Yarra Rangers and Bendigo. And we're also continuing to work, Glenn's team in particular is continuing to work on how we can work closely with littles operationally in this building, just by maintaining good lines of communication and engagement between the two teams. So again, I don't want to take up too much time, so I've just given a bit of a flavour of some of the things that we're working on as a committee, and what AV does between its governance function, the committee, and its operations function, Glenn's management team. And I just thought I'd touch on briefly how the committee works and applies its focus in some of the things that we've mentioned tonight. It's important to recognise that the committee of AV serves a governance function over management. So that means that we don't organise ourselves into portfolios. There's no operational portfolios around the committee table. That structure is rendered in the management team. We have our office bearers are just the president, the vice presidents, and the treasurer. And our role, as I said, is to govern, not manage. So that means that our job is to keep management, to choose the CEO, and keep management honest by asking questions and ensuring that our governance practices and culture is good. We're intentionally a very skills-based committee, so that means we've got people from a range of backgrounds, including business at both the corporate and local levels, finance, HR, risk, and of course direct involvements in clubs, in the sport at club level. And we For efficiency, we have a number of subcommittees outside of the operational subcommittees that you're probably familiar with over comps that look after finance, remuneration, risk and marketing and report back to the committee proper. The reason I've given a bit of a flavour of that is obviously it's a committee, being on the committee of AV is a service position. It's very rewarding. This year, I don't want to steal Heather's thunder, but this year there's a couple of people that have given tremendous service over a number of years that are rolling off the committee, and a couple of new faces rolling on. We have a very good governance culture, and that's a sign of a very healthy committee to have regular ins and outs and good governance practices. So finally, I'd like to just comment on communication between AV in general, but in particular the committee and clubs. We made a commitment at last year's AGM to improve communication with the membership, and I think we've done that, but as always, we can continue to improve. One approach in particular that we've discussed as a committee is how we engage directly with club committees. So that the invitation has gone out previously to do that, for committee members to come and speak at club committee meetings, and we've had limited take-up, which I think is largely just a logistics issue. So one of the things we're doing tonight is we've got a sheet over by the registration table, and so again, just to repeat that invitation, all the committee members are very happy and keen to come and speak to clubs directly, and to help with the logistics and to make sure that we get that happening. We've got some sheets of, if delegates tonight are able to nominate times and places for committee members to come, then we can do that tonight, or else Glenn's very happy to receive emails to organise that on our behalf. And I can just to reassure you that all members of the committee are keen to come and discuss how we can improve the sport together in our respective roles, and I think that'll be an important thing to aim for in the coming year. So thank you for listening. Hopefully I've delivered on the objective of being brief and informative tonight, and I'll hand back to Heather. Thanks.
Okay. The next item is in relation to the financial statements, so I'm delighted to introduce Jamie Strudley, who's the Treasurer of Athletics Victoria, to provide his report.
Hello everybody, good evening fellow members and guests. I have a tendency to mumble or whisper, so throw things at me if you can't hear me, please. It's a pleasure to present the 2015-16 financial report to you on behalf of the Athletics Victoria Committee. My name, as Heather said, is Jamie Strudley. I'm the Treasurer for Athletics Victoria. Before I start, there is just a small omission in the annual report. If you flick to page 54, you'll notice that the operating lease commitments figures, it's the very last page I believe, were omitted. So there's a little addendum in the back of your sheet which corrects that omission. Basically 2015 figures showing there should be the 2016 figures. Too much noise. 2015-16 represented the third year of a three-year cycle where the attention of the committee and Athletics Victoria was firmly fixed on the production of a high-quality, athlete-focused product for all members. The committee has led this focus by encouraging investment in staff, systems management software and other infrastructural improvements such as officials recruitment, coaching, Club Connect program, which is about to roll into phase 2, an incentivised club helper program, and all of which have made significant improvements to the Athletics Victoria product and brand. This investment has been funded by moderate increases in the costs of membership and by utilising cash reserves held. It is a belief of the committee that these reserves are for the benefit of the entire membership, and that provided we maintain prudent cash management practices, they should be used as and when required. So after 3 years of heavy investment in the association and the sport, Athletics Victoria still has cash reserves of $163,000. While this is down on the March 2015 figure, there are increased totals for inventories, receivables and some significantly lower payables to counteract that decrease. The committee is confident that the management of Athletics Victoria finances is appropriate and within generally accepted expectations. Our accounts have been approved and verified by our independent auditors, and as you've seen with the addendum, we've checked that the auditors have done their job. A debt ratio of 0.41 indicates that any and all debts can be paid as and when they are due, and a current ratio, which represents the ability to pay current debts with easily converted assets in cash, is currently at 1.23 times, which which indicates that there is no immediate cash flow risk to the organisation, something that's very important to the committee. These ratios compare favourably with the 2014 and 15 figures. Overall, the total revenue generated by Athletics Victoria in 2015-16 reduced from 1.983 million to 1.849 million. This is a favourable result, as the budgeted revenue for 2015-16 was only 1.75 million, representing an extra 100,000 in revenue over budgeted expectations. Much of this can be attributed to income from our major events, such as the Australian Cross Country Championships, the ZAPEC Meet, and the Australian All Schools Track and Field Championships. It must be remembered that these events also came at a high cost, so that income was kind of negated. Membership income in 2015 increased from $564,000 to $618,000, represents 35% of total revenue. Similarly, the revenue from our bread and butter events, XCR and AV Track and AV Shield events, increased from $172,000 to $197,000. There was a small increase in the cost of providing these events from $173,000 in 2014-15 to $176,000 last year. The Athletics Victoria management and staff should be congratulated for producing these quality events, and the structured competition pathway with very little increase in the overall costs. Our total expenditure in 2015 was 1.874 million, down from the 2014 figure of 1.968. Excuse me, but up on the budgeted figure of 1.77 million. Excuse me. As mentioned, the majority of the over-budget spend related to the cost of major events. Funding for the costs viewed as essential for the provisioning of AV products such as coach and official recruitment, training and retention, and staff costs were as per budget. Excuse me. Our payroll and staff costs represent the largest cost centre for Athletics Victoria in 2015-16, making up 52% of our total revenue. In 2016-17, this figure is expected to drop to closer to 45%. Good, thank you. It should be recognised that the continued investment in the staff of Athletics Victoria, as Rowan alluded to, will ensure that we provide the best possible product for all members and provide the necessary resources to enhance the profile of Athletics Victoria and athletics in Victoria. The net result for 2015-16 was a loss of $95,000, which is $6,000 more than was budgeted for. It is worth noting that on a tightened revenue stream, we have grown membership, increased our coaching numbers, retained officials, offered a better event experience, supported bigger teams to championships, improved our equipment and technology for zones, improved training and pathway for officials, and still managed to get within $6,000 of our budgeted figure, which is about 1/3 of 1% out. Moving forward, a change in the membership model for 2016-17 sees our emphasis change to a pay-as-you-go model, allowing for members to spread their payments over a longer period. This is expected to see membership income as a percentage of total turnover drop from 35% to about 19%. Alternative modes of income generation will fill the void, including revenue from event entries, sponsorships, government and Athletics Australia grants, office and function room hire, and Lakeside Stadium rebates from catering and hire. It is the expectation of the committee that the budgeted revenues and expenses for 2016-17 will result in little or no further reduction in our total cash reserves. Based on similar membership numbers as for 2015-16, the committee expects the 2016-17 budget to generate a very small loss of approximately $6,000. An achievable 5% increase in membership will return the budget to balance. You must remember that if we allow for non-cash items in the budget, such as depreciation, our cash flow returns to a very healthy positive position. Athletics Victoria is a not-for-profit organisation. It is the intention and goal of the committee to continue to build and develop the Athletics Victoria brand and athletics in Victoria by reinvesting every dollar we earn back into our sport. The committee recognises that there's been membership increases over each of the last few years. The change to a pay-as-you-go model in 2016-17 has changed the way members can pay their membership the timing of the payments, and enables a better appreciation of the varied events available to those members. The committee intends to limit membership fee growth as much as possible, continually searching for ways and means of generating income and reducing our costs. As we enter our next phase, largely governed by pathways determined by Athletics Australia and their one sport ideal, we can all be comfortable that the sport of athletics, Athletics Victoria and our brand will remain at the forefront of sport in Victoria and athletics in Australia. Before I call for someone to move a motion to adopt the 2015-16 financial report, I'd like to invite any questions from the floor. It is 3 consecutive years. Yeah.
But bear in mind the one before that was a very substantial profit of $330,000, which was an accounting distribution from the AV Trust, which was explained at the time and is still in the financial report delivered by Eric Stigmont at that time. So the second year was basically fixing up a lot of the misdemeanors, probably too strong a word, John, but some of the skeletons in the closet that were left behind. So,
we're 3 years of consecutive losses and budgeting for another loss in this financial year.
if growth comes in, it'll be a profit, but we've been particularly transparent about where we are with the financial position.
I stress again, we're a non-for-profit. Some of those losses are used up with non-cash items such as depreciation. So if you're thinking about it from a cash perspective, we're still cash positive, which for our organisation is essential, I think. Any other questions? Thank you all. If there are no further questions, I'd like to move or call for a motion that the 2015-16 Athletics Victoria Incorporated Financial Report be accepted. Anyone? Once again, thank you. We should all look forward to a successful and exciting 2016-17 athletics season. Some Olympics coming up. It's going to be fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. I don't intend to recap either the report which Rowan has just provided or the President's report in the annual report. So this item is to receive and adopt the 34th annual report, including the addendum which relates to page 55 of the report. The annual report's been provided to members via email along with access to the report on the AV website with copies available at the meeting. The annual report is a record of not only our performance of the organisation but a historical account of the business conducted through the past 12 months. So this is a motion to receive and adopt the 34th annual report, which includes the financial statements already adopted. Could I have someone to move that, please? Thank you, Hamish. And seconded? Thanks, John. All those in favour? Lovely, carried. Thank you. Okay. Item 7 brings me to the election of office bearers. Before we move to completing this item of business, at the conclusion of this meeting, 2 current committee members will complete their maximum 9-year term on the committee. And I might just ask Eric and Russell both to stand for this. Eric, representing Glenn Huntley, and Russell from Box Hill have served on the committee in various positions for the last 9 years. Eric was Treasurer for 8 of those 9 years on the Remuneration Committee and has also more recently been on the Risk Committee. I've managed to negate Russell's roles here in my notes, but I can tell you he has been Vice President for, I want to say probably about 8 of those years as well, and he's also held a number of positions on the committees. Both Russell and Eric were instrumental in the move to Lakeside, and their time on the committees ensured stronger governance and controls on a range of areas, including financial management and constitutional and bylaw changes. So I'd like to thank them both for their service. It's been much appreciated, and their time and commitment and dedication is hugely valued, and they are a huge loss to the committee, but we thank them very much. So in terms of the elections, 4 positions were vacated on the Committee of Athletics Victoria and 4 nominations were received. I'd like to ask each nominee who's here tonight to stand once I call out your name and to remain standing. They are Jamie Strudley, was elected to the committee in July 2014 and is a representative from the Yarra Rangers and currently holds the position of Treasurer. Tamsin Lewis Manu is an international, national, state and club athlete and an Olympian representing Sandringham. Tamsin will bring her experience as an athlete to the committee, which will be valued. We've also got Alison Robinson, a senior human resources and currently a GM at NAB, representing Glen Huntley. Alison's experience in people management, restructuring and implementation will also complement the committee's skills. And finally, we have Ian Rickard, who is also a life member of Athletics Victoria. Ian's previously served as a director on the board of Athletics Victoria, and he is still active in many aspects of the sport from administration and continues to compete for Brunswick. So pursuant to clause 26.2 of the Athletics Victoria model rules, as there's four positions vacant and 4 nominations, I declare that Jamie, Tamsin, Alison and Ian duly elected to the Committee of Athletics Victoria. Congratulations. And you can now sit down. Thank you. And this is actually the first time in history our association will have a gender equal committee, which is a great achievement for our sport. And places athletics in a leading position in Victoria. The Minister for Sport, the Honourable John Aaron, has been very vocal on women's participation in not only sport but also the administration for sport, and it's another example of where Athletics Victoria actively promotes and delivers on its good governance. And finally, before moving off elections and committee issues, I just wanted to flag with the membership that the committee is currently considering some changes to the Constitution, which if they come forward will come to the next AGM, to allow direct appointments to the committee where there's a need for a specific skill. If these changes are endorsed, it will allow the committee to add depth and breadth of skills where required. So because the committee is based on the goodwill of people, there is a chance in the future we may not have the skills we necessarily need for the governance of the organisation. So that is the point in time that we'd see this being adopted. Just a flag for the future, really. We will come back if there are changes to the Constitution next year. So moving on to item 8, we're getting to the fun part of the night, award nominations. The Committee of Athletics Victoria convened an awards committee to review and recommend nominations for Life Members, Merit and Regional Service Awards for 2016. The awards committee consisted of Maureen Austin, Paul Jeans and Len Johnson, and on behalf of everyone here I'd like to acknowledge and thank all of them for their work. The nominations committee have made recommendations which the Committee of Athletics Victoria have accepted, and tonight we ask for confirmation from the membership of the following nominations. We've received 1 nomination for Life membership to Peter Barrett from South Bendigo Athletics Club. Peter here.
Stand up, Peter, come on.
So Peter has been an Athletics Victoria board member from 1997 to 2002, a member of the Country Committee for 12 years, and this year will be 34 years of service as a Victorian official across regional, state and national events. In 2007, Peter received a Merit Award for his service to athletics. In regards to his time with Athletics Bendigo, he's been a member of the board from 1993 to present and has held the position of Secretary and Treasurer and President. For the South Bendigo Athletics Club, Peter's been on the board since 1996 and then as Vice President from 1996 to 1999 and Treasurer from 2003 to 2009. In addition, Peter has coached and continues to coach athletes that compete not only locally in Bendigo, but have gone on to compete in state, national and international competitions. A level 4 middle and long distance coach, Peter also facilitates coaching courses at Bendigo University and continues to maintain successful relationships in doing so. As an athlete, our information suggests that Peter started competing in 1982, around then, as a distance runner and competed in events from, now my notes say 6,400 metres to marathon. I have to say, when I first read that, I thought, is that right? Peter's also been instrumental as a participant and leader for the country championships, along with being heralded as changing the focus of athletics in Bendigo. He continues to officiate and act as a mentor, sharing his competition director skills with up-and-coming officials. The Committee of Athletics Victoria has endorsed the nomination of Peter Barrett for life membership and would ask that membership show its acceptance of life membership for Peter by acclamation. Next, we have merit awards. We've had 2 nominations that have been received. The first one is for Nancy Emblem from Sandringham. According to Athletics Australia, Nancy started officiating in athletics in 1980 and while now retired, received her Athletics Australia gold pin for 30 years service in 2010. As an Athletics Victoria official, Nancy officiated in cross-country events from 1995 to 2011 and as a timekeeper and in the call room, and as a general official in Shield competition from 1987 to 2000. As a member of the Championship Committee from 1994 to 1998, Nancy also officiated at 2 National Cross Country Championships, 2 World Masters Games, and officiated at the 2006 Melbourne Commonwealth Games in the marathon and walk events. At Sandringham Athletics Club, many say Nancy is the heartbeat of the club and has held positions from treasurer from 1994 to 2014 and then moved to the position of records officer in 2014, which she still holds. She's been the club team manager across a number of categories and teams including boys from 1980 to 2015, men's team manager from 2005 to 2015, and women's team manager from 2005 to 2015. Nancy was also right in the front line during the merger of the men's and women's club in Sandringham in 1983. The Committee of Athletics Victoria has endorsed the nomination of Nancy Emblem for a merit award, and I'd ask that membership show its acceptance by acclamation. The final merit award is for Brett Coleman, who I understand is not here tonight. Over the past decade, Brett has made significant contributions both to Geelong Regional Cross Country Team and Athletics Victoria as a competitor and race organiser and facilitator. Brett started the AV Winter Competition in 2007 and 2008 and also a country representative for the Geelong region. A keen competitor, Brett was a member of the 2007 men's premiership team and went to lead Geelong to successive premierships in 2010 and 2011 as team manager and was instrumental in their 2015 victory as assistant manager. Brett is also a seasoned competitor who represented Victoria with distinction in the 2011 and 2012 Australian Marathon Championships as part of the men's Victorian gold medal winning team. Brett has also had considerable ability and application in event management and created the Steigen Classic 10,000 metre race in 2010 held at John Landy Field, which was heralded as an event that filled the void for distance runners who hadn't qualified for the Zatopek 10. Since then, the event's grown in the succeeding 6 years to be recognised as a key race on distance running calendar and has been broadened the event base to include junior races, middle distance events and a pole vault challenge. In addition, Brett in fact rescued AV in 2012 when Sandown Racecourse became unavailable for the Road Relay Championships. Using his well-established connections and contacts, Brett secured the Geelong Criterion course and worked with the City of Greater Geelong and pulled together a successful Road Relay Championship. Brett has also been instrumental in securing Anglesey for the return of the Eckerton Relays in 2014, after it was suspended in 2012. Anglesey is a great location for the event as it avoids road closures and high-risk activity, which has plagued the previous events. As a key driver, Brett continues to work closely with AV to conduct the event as part of the XCR calendar. But it's not been plain sailing for Brett, when in January 2013 he suffered a life-threatening injury when he struck live power lines while mountain biking. Brett's recovery from this incident has been inspirational as he continues to support the sport of athletics as a competitor and contributor. The Committee of Athletics... Thank you. I thought I'd get there, but not quite. The Committee of Athletics Victoria has endorsed the nomination of Brett Coleman for a merit award, and I would ask the membership to show its acceptance by acclamation. With the meeting confirming both life membership and merit awards to Nancy, Peter and Brett, official presentations will be made during Zatopek 10, which will be held on Thursday the 4th of December here at Lakeside. Okay. Moving on to item 9, we have presentations. As is tradition, presentations of pennants will be made for both the track and field and cross-country season. Members of the committee will be asked to make the presentations to the winning clubs. Go on, Russell. Okay, so XCR 2015 premiers. If I could get APS United for the men's 40 plus. Okay. Athletics Essendon, women's under 20, under 18 and under 16. Athletics Nunawading, women's Division 4. Love that we got them in. Athletics Waverley, women's 40 plus. Ballarat Region, men's under 16. Box Hill, men's 50 plus. In Collingwood Harriers, women's under 14. Eric? Eric, would you like? Diamond Valley, men's under 18. Doncaster, men's Division 2. Frankston, women's Division 3. Geelong Region, men's Premier. Glen Huntly, women's Premier. Knox Athletics, men's under 20. Maccabi, men's Division 6. Mornington Peninsula, men's Division 5. Old Severians, men's Division 3. South Melbourne, men's Division 7. Victorian Masters, men's Division 4. And finally, Western Athletics, women's Division 2, Division 5 and men's under 14. Amber, would you like to do the next one? Thank you, Eric. So moving on to Shield 2015-16, these are done by region and zone. So Ballarat region, Ballarat YCW, men's Division 2 and under 20. Eureka women's Division 2. Wendouree, women's 40 plus, under 14, under 16, under 18, under 20. Men's 40 plus, under 18, under 16 and under 14. Bendigo region, we've got the Bendigo Harriers, women's under 20, under 16, men's under 20, under 18 and under 16. Eagle Hawk, women's Division 2 and men's 40 plus. South Bendigo for women's 40 plus, under 18, under 14, men's Division 2, under 14. Geelong Region Athletics Chilwell, women's 40 plus, under 18, men's 40 plus, under 18, under 16, under 14. Ballerine, men's under 20. Oh, okay. Corio, women's under 14, under 20. And then while I'm at it, Geelong Guild, women's Division 2, under 16, men's Division 2. You want to go trade places with Amber? Moving on to Blue Zone. Casey Cardinia, men's Division 2. Frankston, women's Division 2, under 18, under 16, under 14, men's under 16, under 14. Glen Huntly, women's Division 1, 40 plus, men's Division 1. Knox Athletics, men's under 18, 40 plus. Mentone, men's under 20. And Sandringham, women's under 20. For the red zone, we had Diamond Valley with women's Division 1, 40 plus, under 18, under 16, under 14, men's 40 plus, under 20, under 18, under 16 and under 14. Preston, women's Division 2. Richmond Harriers, men's Division 1. And Whittlesea City, women's under 20, men's Division 2. Jamie? Would you like to? So no one here from Whittlesea? No? Lovely. Okay, white zone, Athletics Nunawading, women's Division 1. Box Hill, women's under 16, under 18, 40 plus, men's Division 1, 40 plus. Malvern Harriers, women's Division 2. Old Zavarians, men's under 20. Ringwood, women's under 14, under 20, men's under 18, under 16. Excuse me. That was Ringwood, wasn't it? Sorry. St Kevin's, men's under 14. And finally for White Zone, Yarra Rangers, men's Division 2. You're still standing there, Jamie. You've got one more. You've got one more zone to go. Yellow zone. Athletics Essendon, women's Division 1, under 20, under 18, under 16, men's Division 1, under 20, under 18. Coburg Harriers, women's Division 2. Keilor St Bernard's, men's Division 2, 40 plus. And finally, Western Athletics, women's under 14, 40 plus, men's under 14 and under 16. Thank you all very much. You can sit down this time, Jamie. There's no items of general business received, so we'll move on to item 11, which is the closing. But before we close, just want to note that clubs have been provided with the following documentation and information in your club pack: a copy of the draft summer calendar for 16-17 and a copy of the internal strategic review and report that was delivered by Glenn to the AV team on 1 July. This report's a planning document and outlines what's on the team's agenda for the coming 12 months and contains ideas and concepts of what the team will be working on. It's a high-level document that will be fleshed out, obviously, over the coming weeks with further information provided to clubs. Also in the pack was the 16-17 budget and 2-year comparison, just showing the results for people. All of the documents will be uploaded to the AV website, and I encourage everyone to read them and discuss them. And just a reminder, the clubs to provide, if you can, committee members with dates for when you'd like us to come and meet with your committees. And finally, before wrapping up, I'd just like to thank the entire athletics community for your continued support, whether it's being an athlete, an administrator, and a coach, or an official. You're all hugely important to what we do. And also an additional thank you to the AV staff and to Glenn for leading the team. They do an exceptional job, and often under very trying circumstances and long days, to deliver the sport that we all love. And good luck to all the athletes, in particular the Victorian ones competing in Rio next month. It's going to be an exciting Olympics, and we're looking forward to hearing Tamsin and her commentary on Channel 7. So thank you once again for your attendance this evening. I'd ask the Committee of Athletics Victoria just to move to the boardroom for a short meeting to elect the office bearers before returning to join everyone for some supper. So on that, members of Athletics Victoria, I declare this meeting closed. Thank you for your attendance.
Upstairs.